First thing, I guess, do you have any update on Delmas, whether he's gonna be able to go tonight or not?
He's supposed to go through the shooting to see how he feels.
Got it.
Yeah.
Lots of outside noise the last couple of days with you guys. How do you keep all that outside the building and keep your group, on the same page and together with so many things going on?
We've talked about having a bunker mentality, and we know that there's gonna be distractions throughout the course of the year. I'm not, I try not to read too much or hear too much, so I don't know, I'm just taking your word by it. I'm not sure what's going on the outside noise, but it's what every team I've been with, faces throughout the course of the year at some point or another. Dealt with it even during years where we had great teams in San Antonio, even in years where we had great teams in Golden State, and then even in Cleveland I dealt with it. So it's just something that as a group, you have to have a bunker mentality as best you can, and if there's anything that's out there and or that the media, you guys are probing or asking a lot about, is guys are doing your job, and you just gotta keep trying to do the best you can to win games.
Mike, kind of building off of James' question a little bit too.
Yeah.
Players are also human.
Well, I can give you an example. For instance, if player X is in a lot of trade rumors, and at the end of the day, it's not true, you go to him and you say, hey, look, we're not talking to anybody right now. If this is what's really going on, we're not talking to anybody right now. Now, I don't know where this is coming from, and I can't sit here and say never and ever, but I'll let you know if we make a call or if we initiate a discussion with your name. I mean, it's just stuff like that. I don't know what's circulating out there, so that's why I'm just giving you an example of what you can do. And it's different with all the different situations, and it's also different with certain players. Like if there's a rumor or something going on with a guy like Tim Duncan. When I was around Tim, you don't say anything to Tim. Tim don't give a rat's ass what people are saying, what the media is saying out there. Same like a guy like Steph Curry. You don't say anything to Steph. He knows who he is. He's confident in who he is. And you don't have to really say anything to him. So it depends on what's out there and who the individual is, but collectively, that you're going to go through some ups and downs, and you can never get too high, can never get too low as an individual and nor as a team. And part of those ups and downs are, people are going to say stuff, and I even caution it to where, one of the things I was worried about, especially year one, is that, you got a lot of people patting you on your back. Sometimes they can get to your head. You got a lot of people telling you how good you are. Sometimes they can get to your head, hey, because stuff can be going great, but it could change in a heartbeat. So it's best you enjoy the moment, but as best you can, try to stay even keeled so your emotions don't play with you too much either way.
Mike, what do you want to see in the first 5 minutes tonight from your team?
I want to see us be a physical presence without fouling. Simple as that. Let's be a physical presence without fouling, and if we do that, obviously, that, to me, that's something we have control over. You don't always have control over making shots. Sometimes you don't have control over the turnovers because, deflection or whatever. Sometimes you don't have control over them missing shots. Like, you can play great defense, but sometimes they just play better offense. But the one thing we can do is we can bring a level of physicality to the game without sending them to the free throw line.
Mike, how did the Lakers' defense made themselves felt in Thursday's game against you guys?
I mean, the reality of it is I thought, the Lakers were good. I'm not taking anything away from them. They won the game, but Dave, go back and you watch our game. We just gave them the ball sometimes, whether it was, Malik dribbling down and throwing the ball to Christie for 2 points, or Fox getting an outlet and going behind the back and it going out of bounds, or, pass here, pass there, you know, we had a lot of those, and then we just didn't move the ball. And now, I will also say a part of it is the Lakers, they switched, and every time they switched, we tried to either A, post up, or we didn't do what we're supposed to do versus switches. And we just tried to ISO right away and took a tough shot, especially over a guy like AD. But for us to, you know, we averaged 231 passes, or 235, or in the 30s passes a game. We had 197 against the Lakers last game. That was one of our lowest, if not the lowest of all season. And, you know, the year before, we averaged 250-something passes. The year before, my first year, it was even higher than that. And we know the passes are gonna go down, our personnel changed, and our style changed a little bit, but we can't have 197 passes against any team in the NBA. That's not our style. And the last thing I would say on top of that, what I told the media yesterday is, in the second quarter alone, well, two more things. In the second quarter alone, we had 25 possessions. 12 of those possessions, the guy that brought the ball up the floor shot it. Nobody else touched it. And then the last thing I would say is, we had 12 sprays. We're a big spray team, touch sprays. We had 12 sprays in the first half. We made 6 threes off those 12 sprays. We had 4 sprays in the second half. 4. We made 4. We were 2 for 4. We were 50%. But we had 4 sprays in 24 minutes, and that's not us. So the 197 passes, the 4 sprays, and the unforced turnovers, in my opinion, again, not taking anything away from JJ or their team, that's what did us in just as much as anything else.
The spray is a driving kick.
Correct, yeah. I mean, we drove the ball, we showed our guys, and we might have a second defender, and we took tough shots over a second defender, and sometimes even a third defender, you know.
Mike, to circle back on those previous questions, when you're facing adversity and a little pressure as an organization, coaching staff, front office, I know you talked about the bunker mentality, like within the locker room, but how much collaboration is there within the organization from you know, the top on down, in terms of just trying to resolve things and set yourself up for the future?
It always has to be a collective effort. I think one of the things that I said when I first got the job here is, you know, we have to have an alignment, vertical and horizontally, not just during good times, not just when, you know, when I first got here or when change happens, but you have to do it. And it's even more evident when you hit a little adversity. And if that alignment is truly in place and people truly believe, then it's easy to go through adversity. You know that everybody has 2 feet in, but like somebody said earlier, I can't remember, maybe you just said it, but we're all human, and sometimes as a human, if this is the circle right here, that's how to do it. That's a circle, right, or a rope, and you want everybody to have 2 feet in. Well, everybody's human, so one person may have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Whether it's a player, somebody on my staff, it could be, I didn't mean to say that. It could be me. It could be somebody from the front office. It could be anybody that has 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You hope that's not the case, but everybody is human, and you hope as as a group, if they do have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, questioning stuff all the time, being negative, feeding negative stuff to people, trying to splinter us, however it may be, you hope that our group is strong enough to draw them back in, you know. And me as one of those leaders, I have to be rock solid and making sure that I continue to draw everybody in and keeping everybody together. And sometimes that may mean that I jump all their asses and get everybody pissed at me so that they can unite that way. Or sometimes I may need to hug them all at one time and bring them together. So there's different things that you have to do in a leadership role to make sure that that happens. And I truly believe that, you know, it's gonna happen with Vivek and Tina and Monty and obviously myself and the leaders of the team.
Mike, can you talk to your team's desire to do the right thing, and then also how do you guard against trying to do too much in that effort and trying to do, the right thing as well?
Everybody's desire is there, and again, it's not a great stat, but that's part of the reason why we have the most games that are decided by 5 points or less, is there's no quit in anybody in that locker room or anybody that's part of the organization. What it tells me is we're good enough to compete with anybody, because if you look at the different teams' records that, we've had those close games with, they vary. It's not just teams with bad records, it's not just teams with good records. And that tells me that, hey, we're doing enough to stay competitive, so that competitive desire is there. But are we doing enough to get us over the hump when it gets hard? When the chips are down against us during certain parts of the game, or are we waiting, giving that team confidence? And now even a team with a bad record has confidence because we let them off the hook throughout most of the game. And now at the end of the game, they got that confidence and it's hard to shut the water off. So all of the desire is there. It's evident. But following through and trying to do it for as close to 48 minutes is something that we're going to have to continue to battle throughout the course of the year, because I do like our group, and I know our group is more than capable of it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mike.